Our next story we're going to cover tonight has to do with a former U.S. Air Force staff sergeant who claims to have been hired to communicate with aliens for the NSA. This is bonkers. So, a former U.S. Air Force staff sergeant, Daniel Sherman, served as an electronic intelligence specialist in the 1990s, working on classified communications and data analysis projects tied to the NSA. He became best known for his claims about Project Preserve Destiny, a covert U.S. military program allegedly designed to train personnel with latent psychic abilities to communicate with non-human intelligences. So Jesse Michaels recently came out, Jesse Michaels of American Alchemy, came out with an interview with Daniel Sherman this week, I believe. So let's play a little clip from that Jesse put together, kind of teasing and giving us an overview of what the interview would consist of. If you want to watch the full thing, it's like 2 hours long, guys. You can go over to American Alchemy and watch that. We were able to dig up 3 hours.
3 hours.
Oh my God.
I would highly recommend, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can control your speed, your playback speed. Put it at 1.25 or 1.5 because it's a minute.
It's a lot. Wow. Yeah. Well, and you and I were able to dig up interviews from both, I believe, 2007 and 2012, also with this guy, Daniel Sherman. So you can watch those as well. They're a little bit shorter, a bit more concise. And the interesting thing is, we'll hear in this one, is his story hasn't changed. From 2007 up to today, it's the same. Yeah. So is that good? Is that bad? We'll discuss that after this clip. So let me go ahead and play this from Jesse Michaels, and we'll get a little bit deeper into Project Preserve Destiny. Here we go. All right.
Play a tone, and I want you to mentally hum that tone. And he said that you will eventually feel a connection. The line will change. When I saw the sine wave move, I went, oh, okay, well, there's a mental disconnect there that's not supposed to be happening. That this is not possible.
Our guest today is an Air Force sergeant who worked at the highest levels on classified projects in electronics and signals intelligence for the United States government. We have thorough documentation of his military records. His service is not something you can really argue with, nor is his mental health.
This is the most nonchalant conversation I've ever had about alien telepathic communication.
In this exclusive long-form interview, retired Technical Sergeant Dan Sherman claims that while serving in the Air Force in the early 90s, he was recruited for an extremely classified program at the NSA, or National Security Agency. This program was called Project Preserve Destiny. Project Preserve Destiny's purpose? To telepathically decode alien signals for the NSA. You heard me right. Alien signals that seem to telepathically transmit descriptions of alien abductions across the United States. Alien signals that ultimately gave our very curious guest answers about the very nature of the alien presence on Earth, how these beings travel, how they conceive of time, what they think about humans, and much, much more. Dan Sherman was originally told by the Air Force captain who read him into the program that he was given this telepathic ability by the aliens themselves when they abducted Sherman's pregnant mother in the early 1960s and altered his genetics while he was a fetus in her womb. This genetic blueprint would allow him to grow into what the NSA would dub an intuitive communicator.
With the IC communication, you can feel it in your brain. You can feel, now you can't localize it. It's not a localization, but I can feel like it's in that area of my brain right there.
Whoa. And Sherman believes the NSA may even have tracked him since childhood into his young adulthood and military service until he was finally read into the program.
Do you think that the NSA or powers that be know that this interview is happening?
Because of the extremely sensitive nature of this NSA program and its ties to black programs, Dan tries to abstain mentioning which bases this Project Preserve Destiny was conducted at. But my researchers and I were able to locate one of these bases, and I bring it up at the end of this interview, catching Sherman a bit off guard. Not only that, but at the end of this video, we explore an independent researcher's use of the Freedom of Information Act to learn more about Project Preserve Destiny. He sent a request to the government to see all of the files on it. As you'll see, both the Air Force and NSA's responses to his request are fairly telling. The point is, the skeptics can have at it, but this case isn't going away. It's very hard to dismiss. I'd argue that Dan Sherman's story is one of the most important UFO legacy program related accounts we have to contend with. So sit back, relax, and prepare to have your worldview crumble with this week's very courageous American alchemist, retired sergeant, intuitive alien communicator, and UFO whistleblower, Dan Sherman.
Wow.
Wow. The whole thing. Wow.
I don't even know where to really go from here because I'm trying to get the thing back here. Okay, there it is. I will give Jesse Michaels credit for this, and I'm kind of rough on the dude sometimes. Maybe it's insecurity, I don't know. But like he did the work. Like he reached out to people. He was able to like verify certain aspects of this, whether it's the actual project Preserve Destiny, according to the Air Force and all that. I am interested to watch the interview and see what the results on that were, what the response was from them about that. I'm interested to hear more about, how this actual communication, like, why was it called Project Preserve Destiny? Someone asked in the chat. I have that question as well. We should mention too, this all came to light in a 1997 book that he wrote called Above Black, Project Preserve Destiny. And yeah, he goes a lot more in depth about it. And I got to ask you this, Suzanne. We both are quote unquote experiencers and or we have seen UFOs. Neither of us, at least to my knowledge, you haven't claimed to have ever been abducted by aliens or okay. Just I kind of put you on the spot with that question. It would be crazy if you said yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, sorry. Totally like I just, doing this podcast with you for the last 2 years, it now just came to me. But yeah, the fact that he was chosen because his mother was abducted by aliens and in the womb, he had some sort of like DNA put into it from like what? What is this?
I know, it's crazy. But when you watch in any of these videos, because you know me, I'll watch a video, but I'm never satisfied there. I want to go see what they said on the same subject in other places if those things are available. So this is the hole I went down this week. And he is to a word consistent. Absolutely consistent. And the other thing about him, which the group's heard me talk many times about it being a tool of mine on the issue of credibility, is that he will stop an interviewer if they are trying to lead him to something he thinks is not true, that did not happen. He will not go along, and he's not impolite about it, but he's very quick to stop it. So there's something there. Now, how you go about ever finding some finality on your mother having been carrying you and this happening, I don't know what you do with that. I wonder if anybody's done any genetic testing on him to see if something is slightly different. But
yeah, again, maybe that's something we could do. All right, guys. If you want to help us get DNA tests for both Jack Sheehan and Dan Sherman, super chat is open. That you will help fund the DNA tests.
On Jack Sheehan, I did see somebody say that that's not Danny's brother, but it may just be another Jack Sheehan Same name.
Oh,
So who knows?
okay. Okay. Interesting nonetheless. Everything is coincidental. You know, Robert said, "How do I know the name Sherman, Sherman, Sherman?" And we were
Exactly.
like, Shermans, they were the original, I believe, owners of Skinwalker
Skinwalker.
Ranch. So
Yep.
it's all
All
connected. So
connected. Today it's all connected. It's weird.
apparently, apparently. So what the last thing I will touch on with this story that I found interesting is kind of the reason he came out with all of this is not so much like to I guess it wasn't a way to expose the program, but also like he believed as time went on that the motivations behind why the program existed were less than I
Honorable.
guess virtuous, yeah,
Yeah.
honorable. That's a
Uh-huh.
much better word. And he ultimately came to believe that the project's real goal was not research, but control over humanity's first telepathic link with non-human intelligences. And Suzanne, like, what is the big thing right now in
Right.
the
Psionic.
UFO world? Psionics. Boom.
Yep.
So
Telepathy
this
and psionic.
guy
Yep.
like was warning us about psychic communication with aliens back in 97,
It's
which
crazy,
is
isn't it?
crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of what he's saying has been validated in a way, tangentially and also hypothetically by what is being talked about in the world of UFOs today, whether it's psychically summoning UFOs or psychically communicating with the intelligence behind said UFOs. I find that fascinating.
I do too.
So,
I do too.
yeah.
And I wonder if there'll be any blowback. But he said this. He also got out of the service early. And in order to do that, I found this heartbreaking. His direct supervisor, his next up in command, told him that they're not ever going to let you out, much less let you out early. This isn't going to happen. It's too dark a program. It's not going to happen. So he told him he was gay. And they let him out. It was back in the time of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was that Bill Clinton, maybe.
Mhm.
And so he went to a different area of command and told them he was gay. And that was the only way he was able to get out.
Wow.
Yep.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But also a creative way of getting out of it, I
Well,
guess.
and I do
But
think he might have been, I think he says at some point that he's bisexual. And so he just used that as a stepping stool to go ahead and tell in the don't ask, don't tell phase. And he got
okay,
loose. Yeah.
do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's
It was
wow.
clearly
That's
so
interesting.
uncomfortable. And I would just love more detail on all of that. And I think it had something to do with abductions as well. Did you get those details? I wasn't really clear about what he meant, but clearly he thought intent had gone from is this humanly possible to nefarious. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, even in that clip there, they were mentioning like the connection with the Travis Walton incident and other abductions, and I don't know. It's crazy stuff. Like, I definitely suggest people go back. We did put a link in the show notes for, I believe, the 2012 interview. I
I can
don't remember who it
sure.
was with, but that was my favorite one. Project Camelot did the one back in 2007. That group is less than questionable when it comes to a lot of UFO stuff. So I would maybe veer away from that one. But this one from 2012, I found really interesting. And then do watch the Jesse Michaels one, because this is the most up to date and current one with possibly some new developments and information. My question for you, Suzanne, before we move to kind of our last story of the night is, do you think Project Preserve Destiny is still going on? Is there a Kona Blue of Project Preserve Destiny? Or do you think they're still keeping tabs on this guy, if
I
any
think
of this is actually true?
Yeah, I think they're still keeping tabs. And it just seems to me no program ever really dies. It might morph, you know, J. Allen Heineken's group. Oh, that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, wait, yeah, it did exist. You go through these crazy things, and until someone puts the evidence in front of them, they lie. And I have zero confidence that they ever really shut anything down. I think it's a shell game.
I would have to agree with that. I'm calling you out. You said J. Ellen Heineken.
Oh, what did I say? Oh, sorry. No.
I've
Okay.
done the same thing. J.
Yeah.
Ellen Hynek. No, I do it all the time because
Because
J.
I
Ellen
put my
Heineken,
Jay Allen in here. The
he's
chat.
one of our most loyal regulars. He's been with me from the very start.
And
But
he's
his name creeps
hilariously
up.
funny.
Yeah, he
So how
really
about
is.
J. Allen Hynek instead of J. Allen Heineken, with all due respect to our beloved Heineken?
That was the best Freudian slip I think we've ever had on the show. So we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
Okay, good.
We are keeping it.